Alright, what's going on YouTube? So we got another DPS deck here for Back for Blood. This one was specifically someone in the comments down below on my DPS video was asking about other DPS builds as well, because there's a wide variety you could do for the DPS, and specifically they wanted a SMG melee, kind of a hybrid build. I'd say this one's more of like a crowd control and supportive DPS build that's essentially something to complement another DPS at the same time. You can never have enough DPS in the group as long as you have one healer. And this one worked out pretty well for a hybrid, especially for crowd control. Self-sufficient, just jump into the horde, battle them out, and you should be able to maintain health. As well as I'll have a list for all the cards down in the description in order with names if you just want to copy and paste it and roll it in. But we start off with Batter Up, get that 50% melee damage in, 5 health. Battle Lust just to maintain that health, keep up for your crowd control. Body Armor, because with a melee build, for whatever or for obvious reasons, you're going to be taking some hits consistently, and trauma is going to be a bit of a problem. If you have Doc as well, this is going to make it up to a 50% trauma resistance. Ammo capacity is not going to be a worry with this though. As for the next card, starting to add in that SMG damage and amplify the ammo amount that you have for the SMG, along with the hydration pack that's going to add that 25 health. I've already compensated for the ammo capacity loss, but at this same point, this is to make up for the 30% health loss that we're going to get for that 25% damage. That's going to add to the melee and to the SMG. Now, Face Your Fears, obviously, for another healing moment. This one's not going to be that permanent health from Battle Lust, but it's just going to add basically a 5 health per hit on each of the zombies that are going to be straight in front of you. So you're just going to be able to stand your ground inside of the middle of a horde, just constantly swinging and keeping off your buddies. At some points you could funnel yourself into a corner or stand in front of your friends inside of a corner and just constantly hit them. Probably even crouch. Could work out pretty well as kind of like a shield, and as long as your buddies aren't hitting you in the back, you should maintain health pretty easily. Now Shredder, this is just going to amplify the damage for the SMG, constantly adding up to another 15% damage. And Brazen, obviously you're going to want that melee stamina efficiency and 30% melee attack speed just for faster and more efficient use of your stamina. One thing to keep in mind is that if you're sprinting a lot, you cut back a little bit. Obviously that's going to drain a lot of your stamina. You don't want to run into the fights. You want to kind of keep a mindful check on how your stamina's rolling. I'd say 75 to 50% stamina you could do pretty well, but there are some moments where you get a bit overwhelmed. Once you run out of that stamina, it can be a bit of a problem, so keep a mind on that. Now, Ignore the Pain, this card that I may have it later down the list, but if you're coming a bit further in the run, you run across a corruption card that's volatile infected. It's the one with the green glowing heads that'll explode if you hit them with a headshot. If you have that card and you haven't pushed down through the list just yet, and this one's available to pick, I'd suggest picking it before the rest. But if you're not running into that card, this won't be much of an issue. But this will help you survive or maintain stamina and temporary health at that same point. And with the ferocious zombies, they can take a bit more when it comes to damage. Most notably, if it's the volatile infected, that's the reason you'd pick this earlier than if later. But beyond that point, it'll be fine right here. Spiky bits, adding 25% on that melee damage and giving you a bit more resistance. Now, another ammo capacity loss, but trust me, I didn't really have much issue. Tested this build for a couple of hours, did a couple of runs through Veteran on Act 2, did perfectly fine even with randoms, and didn't have much of a problem when it came to ammo. Heavy Hitter, this is one of those cards that's essentially really good for this build. And the one weapon I'd say to use is the one that Holly comes with, which is a baseball bat. It has a stumble chance on special infected, and this can come in handy in those certain moments, say a bruiser's coming up or something. Even possibly one of the fat boys, you can stumble them back, but one of the most effective things is about the Shrieker. As long as you don't have that corruption card where as soon as you kill them, it releases a horde, you can just stun lock that Shrieker and just bash it into the ground to death without it releasing a horde on you. Sunder, another one of those cards that just amplifies the damage and amplifies the damage for everyone around you. Just creates that 20% increased damage towards whatever target you hit. Cross Trainer just to amplify your stamina regen, move speed, and a little bit more health. And to top it off, once you finally get down to it, 30% weak spot damage, damage resistance. You've already got that covered with spiky bits. You're going to be doing fine. And by this point, I mean, you may not even use this card by the end of the line, but you'll have plenty of damage before this. Trust me, it's going to be a worthwhile build. But I will say, add some other DPS in the mix, because it has power, but it's not the most power you could maximize out of this. It's more of a hybrid build. It's one that would complement something that had a max DPS alongside, that would help corral and control the crowds, move through, and self-sufficient with healing. Not going to need much healing. I'd say have a bottle of pain pills or two on hand at any given time. That could help in certain moments where maybe you're facing off against a special affected and you're not getting much health back because there's not much common infected around. Some moments like that could be beneficial to just have some pain pills or breaker or something like that. Obviously, you're going to have to switch to the SMG for those moments, but those are moments where you could take some of those heavy hit damages and not have one of those or not have a moment to regain health from a pack of a horde. But beyond that, it's a solid build. Hope you guys enjoy it. We'll have a Grenadier build coming out tomorrow that's specifically about accessory damage. If you'd like to see more builds like this, obviously like and subscribe. I'll have content like this continuously coming. We're about to push in a nightmare and have a real good grip on how many of these builds can, or have more builds that are 100% nightmare enabled. It's definitely going to be a bit of a struggle to make some of these, and there's going to be a lot of trial and error with it, so bear with me on the time. But I have plenty of new builds also coming along the way. We've got some fun ones. We've got some different hybrids. I'm going to try and produce some more DPS builds as well. But that's going to end it for today. It's a bit early. Time to call it. And if you have any questions about any cards that you don't have in this deck, just ask me in the comments or head to the link in the description. Follow me over at Twitch. Anytime I'm live, if you got any questions, just ask me in there. I'm happy to help. Happy to talk about some of the other builds as well, or some builds that you're possibly thinking about, something you want to see as well. Leave one of those comments down below. I'm happy to make any of these builds. I've been having a lot of fun making these builds, and it's just been a good time. And appreciate everybody coming in and liking the videos and comment down below. Any thoughts, any praises as well. Greatly appreciated. Thank you all. And you guys have a good one.